Abducted. Alien Mate Index Book 1 by Evangeline Anderson. Narrated by Mackenzie Cartwright and William Martin. The Alien Mate Index, or How I Became an Alien Mail-Order Bride. Part 1. Through the Looking Glass. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. I actually went through a freaking looking glass. Chapter 1. Zoe. All the hottest mail-order brides come from Russia. Russia or somewhere over in the Ukraine. At least, that's what it looks like if you're surfing the internet late at night and you run across one of those awful bride sites. All those women are tall and thin with sleek, perfect hair and sexy smiles. Oh, and they're all willing to travel halfway around the world to get out of the crappy place they're living and start a new life. Of course, they might change their minds if they found out they'd have to travel halfway across the freaking universe. That might be a deal breaker. I know it would have been for me, if anyone had given me a choice. I didn't get a choice, though. In fact, I didn't even know I was in the AMI. That's the Alien Mate Index, which is the site full of women that alien males with a taste for Earth girl coochie can choose from. Hell, I didn't even know there was an Alien Mate Index at all. Until I got abducted. Now, lest you go thinking that I'm some 6-foot-tall, hot blonde supermodel, let me set the record straight. I'm not. I'm so not. I'm 5'4" in my stocking feet, and I have curly auburn hair that tends to frizz on a humid day. And since I live in Florida, every day is a humid day. In addition to not being tall with sleek blonde hair, I am also not thin. That's okay, though. I'm not afraid to admit I'm plus-sized. I own my curves, and I love them. I spent too many years at Weight Watchers counting points until I felt like a freaking adding machine. Finally, I decided, you know what? Forget it. Me getting skinny just isn't going to happen. Now I live my life by the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I eat healthy, and the other 20% I eat a damn donut if I want it. So what if I'm a size 16 the rest of my life? I can deal with that as long as I don't have to live on nothing but kale and quinoa. Krispy Kreme is more my style anyway. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not exactly mail-order bride material. I'm just an ordinary girl with a little more junk in the trunk than usual, fly-away red hair, and too many freckles. I'm not the kind of girl a guy would point to on a website and go, "Her, oh my God, I've got to have her." At least, I didn't think so. Again, until I got abducted. But let me tell you about that. And you might want to take some notes. You might want to know what or who might be coming for you. That's because you never can tell who might be watching you, even when you're having the most boring, awful, ordinary day of your life. Oh my God, he's being an asshole again. I'm telling you, Leah, I can't take much more. I muttered into my phone as I sat huddled in a stall of the employee bathroom at Lauder & Associates. I worked as a paralegal there, and the lawyer I was assigned to, Dayton Lauder III, was a real piece of work. Dayton always spoke in this booming voice, as though he was addressing a crowd of admirers, and he wanted the ones in the back to be able to hear him. Unfortunately, most days it was just him and me, and I was most definitely not an admirer. That didn't stop him from yell-talking, as my friend Charlotte called it, all the time, though. I ended most workdays with a pounding headache. If poor voice modulation was the worst thing I had to put up with, I might not have minded so much. Unfortunately, Dayton had other problems that put the yell-talking one in the shade. One problem was his personal hygiene, or lack thereof. When most people think of a lawyer, they imagine some sexy associate from The Good Wife with an immaculate, pressed, tailored suit, neatly clipped hair, and manicured hands. Not Dayton Lauder III. As a tax lawyer, he didn't really go to court much. He just sat in his office and did paperwork, so I guess he thought it didn't matter how he came to work. Well, it mattered to me, or anybody that got too close to him. My boss had a love affair with brown polyester suits. I say suits, but in fact, I was convinced he only owned one of them, which he wore every single day and never cleaned. It was rumpled and wrinkled, and he wore it with a stained white shirt that had dirt marks on the collar and sleeves. Every time he waved his arms, he did this a lot while he was yell-talking, a huge cloud of nauseating BO would waft out, nearly knocking me over if I stood too close. He had coffee breath, too. Not too surprising since he had me brew him several pots a day. Of course, I'm a paralegal, not a freaking barista, but the economy sucked and I needed the job. So I brewed the damn coffee and even fixed it just the way he liked it. 3 creams and 4 sugars. Now, people can be socially awkward and not be horrible. But again, not my boss. He shouted at me a lot, and just that morning he'd actually thrown a stapler at my head because I had stapled his papers in the top left-hand corner instead of putting the staple right in the middle where he preferred it. What an ass. After the stapler incident, I had run to the bathroom where I was pouring out my heart to Leah, one of my 2 best friends. "Oh, Zoe, I'm so sorry." Leah had a soft, sweet voice. Everything about her was soft and sweet, actually, that I normally found soothing. But today I was too upset to be soothed. He threw a stapler at my freaking head, I emphasized. "That's awful," she exclaimed. And then I heard her say, "All right, sweetheart, I'll help you find your pony in just a minute. Right now, though, Miss Heidi is in charge, okay?" Leah works in a private daycare center that specializes in mildly autistic children, and she's better with kids than I could ever be. Talk about the patience of a saint. "Kids sneaking into the break room again?" I asked. She sighed. "Yes, I'm sorry. Heidi is supposed to be in charge, but they always seem to want me. Makes it hard to take a break." "I shouldn't be taking up your time then," I said. "Let me let you go." "No, keep talking. You need to get it off your chest." Leah would make an awesome therapist, I swear, which is what she really wanted to be if she could ever get back to school. There was a clicking on the line that I recognized. "Oh, no. Hang on," Leah said, her soft voice suddenly filled with dread. There was a pause, and I wondered if it was Gerald, her overprotective fiancé, calling. Leah always claimed he had her best interest at heart, but over time he had become more and more controlling until Charlotte, my other best friend, and I were really worried about her. A moment later, Leah came back on. "It's just Charlotte," she said, her voice filled with relief. "Should I put her on too?" "Of course. She must have gotten my message. I called her before I called you." I cleared my throat. I thought it might be Gerald calling you again," I said as she merged the calls. "Nope. He's off on a business trip this weekend." Leah's voice sounded light and happy. I wondered if she had any idea that she sounded that way when her fiancé was gone. "Who's on a business trip? Gerald?" Charlotte's no-nonsense voice came on the line, filled with disbelief. "And he trusts you to be in the house alone all weekend?" "Of course he trusts me." There was a note of defensiveness in Leah's voice that worried me. I had never liked her fiancé, and lately his nasty attitude seemed to be getting worse. But now wasn't the time to stage a "your boyfriend is a controlling asshole" intervention. Taking pity on her, I decided to turn the conversation back to my current situation. Quickly, I outlined the situation to Charlotte. She's a nurse practitioner working for an orthopedic surgeon. He even lets her assist in some of the surgeries he does. She has the best job by far of the 3 of us, but I can't be jealous of her for it. She really busted her ass to get where she is. Not that getting a paralegal degree is all rainbows and unicorns, but it's not as complicated as what Charlotte is doing. "Report him to Human Resources," Charlotte said at once when I finished the near-miss stapler to the head story for the